Sound production, take two.
And action.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Life of Pi. Sorry I've been gone for a while. Life has been a little nuts. But we are back at it with episode 76 for you. So if you are new to this channel, this is a podcast about movies and television. I am the host, P. Young. And welcome to Life of Pi. If you're a returning guest or viewer, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And be sure to like and subscribe if you like the video. See what you're liking and whatnot. So right now, if you're coming in with me on this journey, we are in the middle of talking about the show What We Do in the Shadows, season 4. It just ended, I think, 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer. Again, I was hoping to kind of keep up with it, but again, life happens. So thus, here we are. So tonight, I was going to talk about episode 6 and 7, but I didn't have a chance to get around to rewatch 7 and make all my notes. So, long story short, we're going to do episode 6, so it's going to be a shorter episode, so, just stay tuned. Let's go over it with me. So, episode 6, it is The Wedding. So, Nandor is wanting to remarry Mara. So, the episode starts off with, we see that Guillermo is Nandor's best man, or he calls him best guy. And basically they're both exhausted from the whole planning of this episode, they're exhausted from wedding planning. And basically, Nandor is being a bit of a groomzilla, or a bridezilla if you want a more particular term. And Guillermo, he's on his last wit's edge. He's exhausted. He's falling asleep on camera. He's chugging Red Bulls. And you know what, guys? I've been there. I'm sure you've been there. We've all had those days and weeks and times where you don't sleep because there's just too much to do and you're overstressed and you're just pouring caffeine into your system to keep you awake, especially, people who work like in medical field. You have to work 12-hour shifts, so it's going to be exhausting. So Guillermo's basically there, and his anger is intensified with a lack of sleep. Again, we all know how that feels. So he begins to lash out at Nandor, and Nandor begins to lash out at him. And they're just yelling at each other like an old married couple almost the entire episode. It's like their back and forth is just so great. We then have like Naja and the guide, who, honestly, the guide's character, it gets better and better with each episode. So I'm starting to enjoy her, like, comings and goings more and more as the episodes go on. And basically, they're like after Guillermo destroys her room, they ask him if he punched 5 holes in a wall and fucked a chicken, because they open the room and there's feathers everywhere, and he's holding a sword. And so basically, he's like falling asleep, and they decide to help him with a list. And this whole time, Nandor is asking the genie for help, and Guillermo's like, you gotta stop using you don't want to use your wishes away, but all these things in the list that you want to get done for Marwa could be solved just by asking the genie to do it, and Nandor's being greedy and doesn't want to use all the wishes. So, Naja and the guy decide it's a good idea to go talk to the Baron. And if you guys, again, if you're familiar with the show, no spoiler here, the Baron is like a half a body. They accidentally fried him, I think, in season 1 or 2, and he's been like a burnt half corpse since then. So they go to visit him out in out in Jersey somewhere, and they have like a whole, like, he's like, I don't want to go, people want to see me like this, and they're still talking about how they all want to bang him still, and honestly, the guy's not even that attractive when he's normal looking, but I guess that's part of the joke for the show. And so they do like this whole makeover montage. They're all wearing like weird like 80s outfits, 60s, 70s, and 50s. They're riding bikes together. They have them mounted on a stick, wearing like a barbershop quartet outfit, and they have the whole cheesy 80s makeover or shopping montage. And so we then have Guillermo is out buying like a couple more 12 packs of Red Bull and runs into Derek, the lonely nighttime vampire clerk. He works at a gas station at night, doesn't have any friends, and Guillermo's his buddy, and Guillermo sees he's kind of down, and he's getting yelled at by Nandor because Marwa keeps changing the color of the flowers that she wants, and she wants her parents to show up at the wedding even though they've been dead for thousands of years. And so Guillermo ends up inviting Derek to the vampire wedding because he doesn't have any friends. You can tell he's just a super lonely dude, you know, with the cost of being a vampire, not making very much money working at the gas station he's at. So he's excited, he gets to go to a vampire wedding. So the Nandor ends up wishing the Baron back to life. He wishes for the dodo bird, and he wishes for Marwa's parents to come back to stay for the weekend. And then he ends up running out of wishes. And then, of course, we have another Naja, like, she has a screaming power thing that she has going on. And I don't understand what it is. They haven't really explained it yet. So I'm kind of excited to see kind of how they dive into this. Because she just screams and everything just explodes. And everyone's just like, ah, you know, because everything's exploding. So it's a cool new thing they add this season. And that's the great thing about the show. Like, it seems like every season they add one cool little new thing. Like, this year they have, like, Baby Colin Robinson and not just screaming powers. So, like, they're adding a couple of small things here and there. And so let me flip over. We'll jump right to the wedding. They invite their neighbors. I think Scott, and I forgot to write his wife's name down. They invite them to the wedding because they're their neighbors. And, of course, they hypnotize them. Because it's a vampire wedding, they don't want them to be freaked out at all. And of course, Nandor still being a bridezilla before the wedding about everything. So he's like, everyone's out to get me. No one wants me to get married. And everyone's like, dude, it's all in your head. And then, of course, the wedding gets ready to start. But they give the Baron, they bring him back. He's in his big gown from like 1900s, whatever it is. Because he's old as heck. And the Baron makes a grand entrance, and I was like, oh my god, I want to fuck him, and this and that, and it's so weird, because all the guys and the girls just want to bang this guy. It's so weird and funny at the same time. And you have all these vampire characters coming together, all different kinds of looks, shapes, and sizes. So whoever did the costume designs for this, again, they're killing it. Like, the costume designs, just the different types of outfits these vampires are wearing, their looks, their eye color, their hair color, just everything in general it's so unique and different. And of course they're having the wedding in Naja's nightclub because she's trying to spice it up and bring in rich humans to bring in money and food for her friends. And so of course they get ready to start. Oh, I forgot to mention Naja the doll and Baby Colin Robinson are the ring bearers, which is also freaking hilarious. So we have the Baron shows up, and he's like, you know, does anybody have any, you know, say the objections? And of course, Mara's mom objects, then the dad objects, and then Naja objects twice, and then the guy objects. Next thing you know, we get the screen that flashes. An hour later, people are just getting in line and just venting their frustrations about life and asking for parking validation at the nightclub. And Nandor's like, I told you, everyone's out to get me. And so Marwa, of course, has her doubts because she had doubts as early as yesterday about marrying him because it's someone she married thousands of years ago, and then he lived with her for thousands of years. And then, of course, you know, we get through that. They get married, and the genie is at the head table with Nandor. And he gives him a little baby lamp about yay big. You can see my fingers. It's about an inch or two big. He goes, oh, what's this? He goes, new lamp. He goes, it only has 3 wishes. So, of course, Nandor's kind of pissed, but he's like, oh, cool. You know, because in the one of the last wishes she had was that Marwa likes all things he likes. So now she likes everything that he likes, no matter what it is. And he doesn't understand how annoying and terrible that could possibly be. So he gets a new genie, but only 3 wishes this time. And then in one of our last scenes, we have Baby Colin Robinson is out in the foyer drawing a penis on Guillermo's head, who's passed out, while holding baby Naja. And then we have some credits, and then we have the cutscene, and of course we have Sean waking up in the middle of the field in the middle of a field somewhere, no pants on, barely wearing a shirt. His wife screamed out, like, where were you last night? He goes, I don't know. So, like, the whole, like, hypnotism thing ended up working. And so that's basically the whole episode right there. So, again, it's a shorter one, guys, because life just came at me and didn't have time to get to episode 7. So episode 7, we'll be hoping to get it out this coming weekend if I have time. So I do have family in town, so I'm going to try and squeeze it in between visits. If not, I'm going to have it out early next week. So be on the lookout for that. I am still hoping to get my buddy Will on here as a guest. He's a huge fan of the show. So hopefully we can get him to call in. He'll be calling in from Detroit. So hopefully we can get him on. That'd be really cool to have him on. He's been on a previous episode for the Sharknado. So if you haven't seen the Sharknado episode, by the way, go check that out. We had the screenwriter who wrote the first 4 Sharknados, Mr. Thunderlevin. It was an incredible episode. He gave us 40 minutes. It was insane. So go check that out. That's like, they came out like a month ago. So go check that out if you haven't seen that one yet. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys tonight. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you're seeing, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Give me a follow. Reach out to me on social platforms if you have any questions or comments, or you have a subject you want me to, or a movie or TV show you want me to cover, or if you want to come on and be a guest, I'm always happy to have on guests no matter what I'm covering. If you want to come on, just be a guest, just to see if you like it or you like being a guest in general, hit me up. I'm a social guy. You can reach me on my email at lifeofpiecontent@gmail.com. You can also reach me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm on all of them. Just look for the Life of Pi. It's the blue background, the little clipboard. So again, thank you so much for listening. And as always, I hope you've enjoyed your slice of pie.